So we are dabbling into a bit of news today. Hello everyone, it's Stu, welcome to my channel. And this is the episode of It's Stu's News. So yeah, we've got a bit of news topics, but they're more opinion pieces to be honest. And I'll warn you now, I'm going to go on a bit of a rant. I am going to discuss some of the things around Game Awards and have a look at some of their choices, and the format of it seems a bit strange. I want to go into that, and gonna dabble into Grand Theft Auto and The Last of Us as well, and give my opinions on where we are with games like that these days. I don't think that we are in a good place. Anyway, keep watching and you'll see exactly what I mean. But yeah, welcome. So let me just make sure I'm on the right page first, and then we'll move you guys over to here. So yeah, hey everyone, so here we go. We have got the Game Awards. So the Game Awards nominees have now been released, or they got released a while ago. I'm a bit behind on this. I've not done caught up on content for a while because I've been travelling. While I've been travelling, I've been playing Super Mario Wonder actually, which is included in this list. But before I get into the list of the actual games that are included, I think we need to discuss exactly the format of this, which I just think is flawed, so to say. It is flawed. So I was listening to a couple of podcasts, and more importantly, the X1 Bros podcast. That's a tongue twister. It's a really cool podcast if you've not listened to it before. Essentially, they came up with the idea of, well, you've got a list of like 20 categories or something for Game of the Years. You've got best RPGs, you've got best cinematics, best audio, stuff like that. And essentially, what they were saying is, well, the winners of them each of them categories should then make the nominee list for the Game of the Year. Which I thought was really cool, actually. It made me start thinking about it as well. Like, yeah, actually, that's such better format. And that's just like them guys thinking about it. Like, if they actually thought about this, it could be a decent format. I think the Oscars format is just a bit dated. It doesn't work, doesn't make sense. And especially for gaming, it just doesn't make sense. So you can see on the screen here, I've got like the breakdown of the list. I won't go into too much detail, but if you want to see this, this is on Verity.com. They've got the full list down and each category as well. But if we just like quickly look into the Game of the Year, there's a couple of things I want to mention here. So Baldur's Gate 3, yeah, 100% deserves to be in there. I think even people who've not played it, which includes myself, I've not played it yet, I'm waiting for the Xbox version, can respect how good this game is, especially in a year like 2023 where it's just been absolutely insane year for games. For then later in the year Baldur's Gate 3 to just blow the gaming world up by storm. But my issues with this list and this format are two things. The first thing I'm going to touch on, and people will completely probably disagree with me, this is the Resident Evil one. So Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is a remake. I don't think remakes should be in there. Definitely shouldn't be in there. It's stupid. It's not stupid, but it's just a carbon copy. I don't know the details of Resident Evil 4. People correct me if I'm wrong. It could be very, very different. But you are essentially using your current material to just... I mean, I've got a big issue with remakes at the minute in general, and I'll touch into this like in the Last of Us parts and stuff as well. But I just don't see how it can fit into the Game of the Year list, because remakes should not be allowed, in my opinion, because there's no new characters, there's no new story most of the time, and I feel like it's just a lazy addition. I love a remake, don't get me wrong. Like the Dead Space remake, for example, I played that recently and that was absolutely awesome. Though that's I wouldn't include it in Game of the Year. Even as much as I loved it, and I do think it's one of the best games of the year, I would not include it in the Game of the Year nomination. It should have its own category of Remake of the Year. And then, like that format I mentioned earlier, then if that's okay, it should then slip into the Game of the Year if it wins its respective category. Yeah, remake shouldn't be in there, in my opinion. It's just not fair to me, in my opinion. There's a couple of others in there, like Super Mario Bros. Wonder, which I mentioned. I've been playing that while I've been travelling. I don't think that should be in there either, but that's more just the calibre of games that have missed out on this. Lies of P, Star Wars, Hogwarts, Diablo, they're all included in this shortlist of Game of the Year. Now, some of them games are in the best categories and stuff, but yeah, Resident Evil before, man, like, I don't know, it just rubbed me up the wrong way. I just think it's a bit of a farce that it's able to get in there, to be honest. But then stuff like Baldur's Gate 3 and stuff. See, people might argue here with Resident Evil 4, they might say, well, Zelda's pretty much a remake, or it's a sequel. Spider-Man's pretty much the same, it's just a sequel. But there's a big difference between a sequel and a remake. A sequel is like a continuation of the story, or even if it's got the same map, New York City, even if it's got the same map in Zelda, like Hyrule, is it? It's technically a sequel, and it's titled as a sequel. And people will say, "Oh yeah, but Zelda was it was going to be a DLC, but then they realised it was too big, so they made a new game and charged us £70." And yeah, but it's not a remake. It's officially not a remake. So I kind of agree with them ones as well. But let me know what you think. Should remakes be in there? So that's my first issue. Should remakes be in there? No, they shouldn't. No, in my opinion. Load of shite, really. But there's another issue I wanted to touch on. And so if you scroll down, and this is also something that the podcast guys were mentioning as well, so if I scroll down to Best RPG, probably don't have to scroll down, I could just explain it, but yeah, Best RPG, Baldur's Gate 3, there you go. But there's some other games in that list that aren't mentioned in the Game of the Year. Starfield, let's take Starfield for example. If Starfield wins Best RPG of the Year, Baldur's Gate doesn't win that category. Okay, but it wins the Game of the Year, let's just say. Which I think it will. How can it win Game of the Year when it's not won in its own category? I know there's branches of RPGs and it's a different type of RPG, it's action RPG, tactical RPGs, all this stuff. But if it doesn't win in its respective category that is known for the game, this game is known as an RPG. Classic straight up RPG. Let's take away all the subgenre stuff and just keep it simple. If that doesn't win, then how can it then warrant a spot in the Game of the Year? I mean, I know Baldur's Gate, there's other factors to take into account. Best action and like best gameplay and best audio and all that stuff, but it's not the game's fault, and I'm not dicking on any of the games here really. I'm going down hard on the format of this, is what I'm trying to get at, is just people understand the format is flawed. The format is just not correct. So if you look back at like old E3s and old Xbox and PlayStation showcases where there was a lot of talking, there weren't hardly any gameplay, people hated it, then things kind of like went off into the distance and kind of like died a death. And I fear that like the Game Awards will do the same, and it won't keep the respect of its fans, and the fans of gaming, and the like prestige that it's trying to achieve, because the format is just flawed. There's other things wrong with the format, the categories. Some of the categories just don't even make sense. I think it's the second category, Get Down, is essentially, where is it? Game of the Year, and then Best Game Direction. I don't know if that's just this year, but it's just literally a carbon copy of the Game of the Year, so you could just set up a category off completely. It should be best game director, so the actual director of the game, rather than the whole game itself, if that makes sense. So I think the categories could do some work as well. You could add a few more categories and just change the format up a bit. Mix it up. Come on, let's make it more interesting. Let's make it more fun. I definitely think that one where if you win your category, you go into the game of the year. Because I'm sorry, like, if Baldur's Gate 3 didn't win any of these categories, I think it will clean up in quite a few. But then what is the reason then it's in game of the year? And for me, and I put this out on my Twitter recently, is there is one big factor missing from game of the year as well. And this is hard to measure, but is it fun? At the end of the day, gaming should be fun. A game you play, it should be fun. I don't know how you measure that, and I don't know how you do nominees and stuff like that. But essentially, that's the goal. That's the goal of all of this list and this Game of the Awards stuff. Like, what's the funnest game? What has people enjoyed the most? And what is... Yes, you've got, like, technically and performance and dev and quality and all that stuff should take into account. But the core question, first in that room where they decide this, should be, what game did you enjoy the most? Right, so I'm just going to leave that there. But what do you think? Do you think the format's wrong? Do you think its format's okay? It's just an award ceremony. They're always going to be like that. Do you not care? Do you just like think I'm looking into it too much? I could possibly be looking into it too much as well. So what do you guys think? Let's leave that one there. Let's simmer on that one, shall we? Now, I'm going to go into the world of GTA. And I'm going to say as much as I don't want to. And the reason I'm saying that is because, and the reason I'm talking about this is because, does anyone actually care? Do you actually care about GTA? I've got to this point with GTA where I could not give a single F. I don't care. They could come out with anything, and say it's going to be the best game ever. Is it though? Look, fair play to GTA. They've, in the past, they've made great games. I've put a lot of hours into GTA when I was younger, and I think they just they do break the boundaries with gaming. But I just can't predict them doing that again. I can't predict that mass appeal to all generations of like a GTA and some new mechanics, and yes, it's going to be an improvement, of course it is. It's going to be new hardware, it's going to be more modern, it's going to be better gameplay. But fundamentally, what is going to be the difference is what I want to know from this. But even if they come out and say that, I'm just a bit like, I don't know what more you can offer me, Rockstar, with GTA. Like, it's been out so long, especially GTA 5. It came out when I was like in college, on like the 360 and stuff. Like, what? Are people just not over it? Like, because I am. I'm just over GTA. It just doesn't tickle my fancy anymore. It doesn't appeal to me. I don't know if it's the model. I don't know if I've changed as a gamer as I've grown older, probably. But GTA just doesn't seem to drag in that appeal. And to be honest, I ain't got any time for it. And I think people should think about that a bit and think, okay, what are you actually going to offer us? Because yes, there's hardcore fans, and I'm not knocking on GTA fans. I'm not knocking on anyone who still likes GTA. Like, it's a great game. But I just want people to think about, what's it actually going to offer that you've not had before from a GTA? What would be different? I mean, we don't know that yet. This is all hypothetical. They could come out and completely blow this video that I'm doing now out of water, and they could release the best game ever made. But even then, I'd still be a bit tentative, because I would want to think, well, the core of the game is probably going to be the same. Surely it's going to be pretty much the same. You rob cars, you do this, you rob banks, all this stuff. you run down the street, you get into cars in ridiculous ways, the shooting's like weird, like a GTA game is. I just can't. In my universe, in my world, and if everyone was exactly the same as me, which I'm glad they're not, because then it'd be weird. This game wouldn't be a success in my tiny little world. Like, I just don't see the appeal. But I want people to I want people to comment on this and reach out to me and say, actually, this is why it's exciting. Is it because of like nostalgia and stuff? Is it because it's been so long and you want to see a modern version of that? That's totally fine. I'm not knocking anything. Is it purely just the type of game? It's just so good that it's just always exciting. Like Call of Duty, I like Call of Duty. Like, it's just good all the time. It's good to play. It's fun to play, which goes back to what I was saying earlier. That's all that matters. But to me, the reason I brought this up is just there's been a lot of news with like they're starting working on it. I think it's not going to release until like 2028. So we're talking about it now, and people are getting hyped and stuff like that. But I just don't think it's going anywhere at this point. Like, it's still going to be years away. I could be wrong. But yeah, that's just why. I don't understand it. And I'm being a bit negative about it because maybe I just don't like it anymore. Which is a bit sad, like, and that's why I've done this, because it's just made me think about it, like, do I even like GTA anymore? Would I jump into GTA 5 again today? No, I wouldn't. I've had enough of it. I've just had enough. Sound a bit fuming, don't I? But I'm not fuming with it. I just want people to talk about it and think about it. Like, what are they going to get from it? I want people to get everything they want from it, and I can't get anything from it. And if you feel the same, great, let me know. If you don't feel the same, even better, let me know, because I want to understand people's opinion about this one. The last one I want to touch into, whoa, that's a big advert for Super Mario Wonder. It's not what we're going to touch into. I'm just going to close that. Adverts everywhere. This one is... I'm just going to get angrier now. The Last of Us Part 2. Does it need a remaster? No. No, it does not. So The Last of Us Part 2 in December is... I think it's in December. Oh no, January, it says here in the article. So this is an article by IGN, if you want to check that out. In January 2024, there's going to be a remastered version. You are joking. The game literally came out in 2020. 2020? It's only 3 years old. Like, why does this game need a remaster? Now, apparently, if you scroll further down into the article and stuff, it goes into, yes, it's upscaled to 4K, it's got a new fidelity mode, and there's like unlocked frame rate options, blah, 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 blah. But then there's also stuff like new unlocked lost levels, and then there's like a speed runner mode, and I think there's like the mode, what did they call it? I can't remember what they call it, but it sounded like a permadeath mode. I was like, does that warrant a remaster? Like, I mean, that's good, because normally from a remaster you get nothing. You just literally get graphics and stuff like that. But they did that already. They've done that multiple times. Like, what are people going to get out of this? Again, what are you going to get out of this? Because I can't see the value of it. Now, one plus side it has got going for it. If you've got the PS4 edition of The Last of Us Part 2, you can upgrade this to your PS5 edition for $10 or £10 or whatever currency you use. A tenner. Okay, but it's still a tenner. Like, I know it's only a tenner, but arguably it's the same game. And this goes back to the old remaster thing again. Like, for me, the time between The Last of Us remasters just doesn't warrant a remaster. What are you going to do in 10 years' time when people are actually feeling nostalgic about people aren't feeling nostalgic about The Last of Us at the moment because we've got a TV show. We were meant to get the multiplayer, people are expecting a number 3, but yet you're wasting all your time on a remaster that's from 3 years ago. To me, as a fan, I am a fan of The Last of Us. I can't deny it. It's absolutely fantastic. The story is brilliant. Again, I'm not knocking the game itself. I'm knocking the decisions and trying to understand why people would get excited about this and why this becomes newsworthy, because to me, it just feels like Naughty Dog and Sony are just trying to take some more money out of me again. And they're trying to keep me quiet and excited and forget about the fact that they've not delivered on a promise of multiplayer and have not even discussed Last of Us Part 3 or if they're even going to do one, etc. Like, super fans, you might know more than me. But from my point of view, this really doesn't warrant it. I just feel like they're just taking the piss. They're just taking the piss out of this. They know they can get that extra tenner out of this. And then for people who haven't even got the PS4 version, they're going to get even more money out of this. But what I'm thinking is, does this refer back to a compatibility issue? Is it because backward compatibility is just not available? Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can you not play the old version on your PS5? Or is it the other way of, yeah, you can play the old version, but then they're still wanting you to pay some more to get another copy to play on your on your PS5? Like, I don't understand it. It's not been long enough, and The Last of Us has got repetition and remasters already. They've done it before, from PS3 era to PS4. They're doing it again to PS5. Just give us a backwards compatible version, and people can still play their old ones. I just don't get it. Like, the £10 thing, obviously that's a pretty cool deal, but it's still a tenner, and you get a couple of levels. It's probably going to be 2 hours content. It's not going to be much more than that. And then some modes that 90% of gamers who I imagine play The Last of Us won't even be bothered about, like speedrunner mode. Not everyone's a speedrunner. Not everyone wants to do that. People want to like take the time on the games and stuff like that, like replay it. But you haven't got that nostalgia there to replay it. Yes, people can replay games whenever they want, but I'm probably not going to play a game that I've just played 3 years ago. Like, and if I did, I just played a copy I had from 3 years ago. Like, it's very strange. It's just very strange to me, and this ties into the whole remakes and just the whole format of how some developers and publishers and Xbox, PlayStation stuff, how they approach stuff sometimes, because to me it's just not worth the hassle. It's really, like, yeah, people love The Last of Us. I'll say it again. People love it. I like it. But actually give fans something worth giving them. The multiplayer. The part 3. Something that will last more than 20 minutes. Because people, I'll tell you what now, people will get this. They'll play it. They might replay it again. Yep, great. You'll get your £10. Then what? That's it. It's gone. It's forgot about again. Yes, you're keeping the hype for The Last of Us, but you've got the show to do that. You've got this so-called multiplayer to do that. You've got the part 3 to do that. Like, why are you going back and remaking it at a time like this? It's the worst possible time, in my opinion. It's the worst possible time. And I just want Last of Us fans to, like, really think about this as well. Similar to what I was saying about the GTA stuff. Like, just really think about it. Like, are you not annoyed at this? Is it just me? Like, what? Like, please, like, someone please, like, say in the comments and stuff, like, what are you going to get out of this? I have a strong opinions on remasters and stuff already. I feel like you have to do it. There's a big thing with timing. And if that's not done right, then I think you have the potential of just annoying people. So yeah, it's a good article. It's worth reading into. So these are saying, like, it's a bit of a clickbait article because they're actually shouting for it and saying it's actually really good. But even, like, it says here, look, in 10 years, So it's only been 10 years, really, since the first one on PS3. I mean, that's quite long. If they'd never remastered number one, which they have multiple times, if they turned around and said, we're doing The Last of Us number one, PS5, this is the first time I ever remastering The Last of Us after 10 years. Yeah, great, fantastic. Sounds amazing. That's good. But this 3 years window, I don't know, it just rubs me up the wrong way. I can't quite put my finger on the one thing, but there's multiple of things that are just annoying me with this. There's a little vote on here as well, so I'm going to just see what people are saying. Yes, it's the definitive. Does The Last of Us 2 need a PS5 remaster? 63% say no. It's fine as it is on PS5. Oh, so you can play it on PS5. So there is a PS5 version, but then they're doing a remastered PS5 version. It's got like over 2,000 votes, 64% saying no. I imagine a lot of them are fans as well. There must be if they're reading this article. So, oh man, I don't understand it. Anyway, I think that's enough rant for today. Well, let's end on some positives, shall we? Let's end on some positives. Positives are, so the Game Awards. Let's start there. Positives are, it's a celebration of gaming. You can't knock that. It's a good thing for gaming. It's a celebration of what a great year we've had. 2023 has been sick. The GTA stuff, positive of that. Fantastic news for fans of GTA. I am happy for people who still enjoy GTA. You've been waiting for this for a long time, and it's good that they're actually still keeping the franchise alive, I guess. Is it? I don't know. I'll try not to go negative. And then The Last of Us, the positive of it, the good little thing is it's only a tenner upgrade. People are getting lost levels and new modes and increased performance, which I know people love. And people love the game. So, yes, I'm annoyed about it, and I think it's a bit silly. But there is some positive to take. There's positives to take from everything in life. So, that's what I like to finish on. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. If you can hit that like and subscribe button, really helps. And yeah, like I said earlier, drop some messages in chat. Let me know what you think. Let's start a debate, not an argument, a debate. So I want to be proven wrong. Thanks, guys. Thanks very much. Have a great day, and bye for now. Bye.